Hello. Hi. I'm gonna sit like I would sit during the actual thing. Hello. My name is Tommy, and I like cars that kill people because apparently that's a useful plot for a film.
Fuck off, it's a good film. Is that going?
Hi, I'm Tommy, and I like
Old movies.
movies that have cars that kill people because somehow that's a good plot for a film.
Oh, it is going. Cool.
That's gonna get annoying really fast. Oh my god.
We've got the opener.
That's not. That's not. Oh.
My bad. I haven't made any notes either.
Oh. I think we should talk a little bit about what we're going to do in college, like short films, and if we've got any ideas and stuff.
Well,
That was one of the things, wasn't it? Oh, fuck.
no, it wasn't. One of the things I wanted to say quickly is we're now going to do this properly here. So not pilots now, this is like episode 1.
Yeah.
I do think we need an introduction.
What do you well, yeah, but like... Introduction as in what? Like you mean opening music, or do you mean us two?
No, I mean standing there and saying, yo, sup?
So you say, hey,
Yo,
Studio 2.
Yeah, but it just feels
This is the
wanky.
Studio 2 podcast with Tommy, and then I'll go and Ryan.
Yeah, we'll use that. Anyway, so what week are we on now? We're about 2 weeks into 2018. Someone's just opened that door, so someone's going to interrupt us.
Someone's going to come in. I reckon it's going to shout it like 10 seconds
They
ago.
always do. They're not going to do it now.
No,
You'll
probably
pop
just
in
clean
there.
it.
So we're like 2 weeks, not 2 years, into 2018.
If you're not counting holidays, we did one. We did a blank on the word.
Podcast.
We did a
Pilot.
pilot. We did one pilot, and then we did another one. We weren't happy with the other one, so we decided to scrap
No,
it.
so we're going to try and keep them to an hour long.
Hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because an hour sort of worked, it was concise, it was funny still. An hour and a half was just a bit... and
Scrambling on.
personally, I don't know how you work, I'm sort of trying to limit notes that I write. Because the second pilot we did, I'd written really detailed notes of everything I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And then there was a very obvious switch when we moved from like just having a conversation to something that I'd scripted. And I didn't like that. So I'm
Which
trying
part
to
did you
limit that.
prefer? Did you
I
prefer?
like just a bit more of a flowy conversation.
Alright.
But that's just how I work. I don't make notes for things. So.
Yeah, I tend not to make my notes because usually stuff that I like to talk about would be stuff that happened on the day.
Yeah.
Or stuff that I just thought about literally 10 seconds ago. So.
But speaking of thinking about stuff 10 seconds ago, 2 weeks ago it was Christmas. So, like, do you wanna? What do you think of Christmas? How was your Christmas?
Well, I mean, I worked it, so I worked Christmas Eve.
I work it every
Christmas Day, I got off. Boxing Day, I had that off as well, and then I worked New Year's Eve. I didn't do anything.
I meant more of like, what are your opinions of Christmas?
You said, what did you do?
Well, I was trying to be nice, but you know,
Wow.
read my fucking mind. I don't actually
Wow.
care about you.
My opinions on Christmas.
Been to Christmas.
I mean, I think it's fine. I mean,
Sad.
I don't
you
like
find-
the fact that it's all based around presents, but if that's how it's become, that's how it's become.
Yeah, Chippy the baby Jesus. Do you find that, like, as you get older, like, you don't have the Christmas spirit?
I haven't had the Christmas spirit since I was about 12.
Yeah. See, I kept getting moaned at because I just didn't feel it. I think it was because I was working over Christmas more. Like, I work mornings,
Yeah.
but now I was working in the
Well,
days. And
as
you
you
just
grow
hear
up-
the same fucking 3 Christmas songs played non-stop and repeat.
Oh my god, I have where we work, we have obviously we work in a pub that does food, so you have a chef, like a cook, and she's great, loved to bits. She played Christmas songs non-stop for about 3 weeks, and I wanted to kill someone at the end of it. No, Christmas is fine. I think as you get older, obviously, you just get more and more stuff to do, so you end up. Well, it comes Christmas and it's
busier
like
over Christmas. You don't have that hype
yeah,
around it.
it's 2 weeks until Christmas, and you go, oh, it's Christmas, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you don't have that.
I spent about £400
Wait.
on Christmas this year.
I was cheap, but I got good gifts.
See, I don't know how I spent £400 on Christmas.
You don't
'cause I know for a
have-
fact one of my friends got a CD thing from Poundland. So
A Poundland present.
I don't quite know where all my money went, but it did.
I didn't
so
know you had £400.
Neither did I.
Was that from the new job?
Well, yeah, I was getting paid, and I was just spending it straight away. And so I
Oh,
spent,
see, that happens to me as
blew
well.
through about 200 quid. I spent about 200 quid in a day.
I spent quite a bit. A lot of it was with grandparents and stuff. I never know what to get, so I will just put money in a card or just give them vouchers. It's the worst holiday for. They give you this really thoughtful gift because you've got
Yeah.
loads of stuff you're into, and then they're into
Being old.
like a dog, and you can't get them a dog because they've got a dog because that's the dog they're into. So yeah, it's been a weird one for me. It's the first one I've had actual money on, so I've actually been able to buy my own presents instead of.
Do you suffer with like the bit between Christmas and New Year's where it's just
I
sort
was
of that?
perpetually drunk.
Well,
I was drunk for like the first 3. I have a friend who told me to slow down because they were worried because I literally every day I was like, oh, I'm drinking, but it's because
Right.
you don't know what to do with yourself. It's the period between.
so I
Christmas
was
and
just
New
going
Year's.
out and right. The thing I'm sort of trying to slowly segue onto here is New Year's resolutions because I've always hated them, and then this year I actually decided to set some. And so far they're not going great. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I said
But-
like 2, I think.
I find it stupid that I don't like the idea of New Year's resolutions because you've got Christmas, that little fucking no man's land bit, and then New Year's Eve, where everyone's like, "Oh, I know what I'm going to do in the new year. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to do like
Never
whatever."
happens.
And like in that week, people seem to take it as like a challenge to get as much of like the bad shit done as they can. It's like, "Oh, I'm never going to be able to eat biscuits again, so I've got to eat all of the biscuits in the world." Don't know why biscuits specifically, but fuck it.
Well, let's just use them.
I always use biscuits.
That's probably one of your resolutions then.
It's not, funnily enough. Should we go through my resolutions?
Yeah, sure.
Gives you time to actually think of some.
I've got 1 or 2.
See, I've sort of given myself 3 because I think that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you give yourself 3. I've got one which is the really generic-y thing that everyone has. Of everyone wants to lose weight or join a gym or do all that thing. I don't really care about weight. I'd go up and down, whatever. Not really that fussed. My thing is, so obviously I'm a BMX rider. That's been addressed a couple of times.
Yeah.
Fuck off. So for me, like I ride bikes a lot. So everyone just assumes that I'm this really fit bloke that can do anything. And like I say, I don't know. Oh no, I didn't tell you earlier. I ran for a bus this morning, and then spent the
you
next
fix it?
5 minutes at the back of the bus, genuinely wondering if I had asthma or not because I couldn't breathe. Like I'm incredibly unfit. I can ride a bike for ages. I can't run for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I
I get out of breath walking up the stairs.
that's what happened. I started year 7 and I never had speed. I was always slow,
Just
blob.
getting
But I always used to do good on the long distance sort of stuff. Apart from when it got too long and it was beyond man's capacity to actually run that far. And then I hit like year 9 and I couldn't run more than a metre without needing a break.
Did you still get it where you just suddenly became fat?
Yeah.
I had that. Not fun. Well, mine was because Greg's was built like 2 doors away from my shop, so I was just going to Greg's every day, and I was having like 4 sausage rolls for breakfast, and then going out and having lunch.
He's
I got really fat.
I stopped doing all the sports I used to do, and then I think that kicked in.
Well, for me, I always found it quite easy because I just cut out. I immediately went right. Well, I wasn't fat. Now I'm fat. Probably to do with Greg's, wasn't it? So I just cut Greg's out and then started doing exercise. And for me, that worked. I know for other people, it's not that easy.
That's interesting because I've seen you eat Greg's recently. Quite a
Well,
lot.
I've not cut out Greg's completely. I'm relatively comfortable with my weight now. But at the time, I started putting on a lot of weight. So it's not a case of eating healthily. I just was watching what I was eating. I sort of tried to limit myself to 3 meals a day as opposed to I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. Which I still
Yeah.
try and do. Although I sort of went a bit the other way for a while and just didn't eat for a bit.
Yeah, I
That's
did
fine.
that ages ago.
I was having like 1 meal a day, and people were like, "That's not good." I was like, I'm not dead yet."
No, I had a mindset a while back where I went, all right, well, if I want to cut down on what I eat, I'm just gonna half everything.
Yeah.
So halving your dinner isn't right because you end up with really small. I don't get how it happens. You go from like a big dinner to like a really tiny one just by halving it.
Yeah.
So you need to actually work on like portions and all that
So I
crap.
just stopped eating crap.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. It's too good.
See, we have already said that I want to go and buy some M&Ms to watch a film.
Yeah.
Because you need M&Ms to watch films.
No, you don't. You need popcorn.
Fucking popcorn's overrated. M&Ms, I suppose that. M&M mix.
M&M mix.
Yeah, you get chocolate, peanut, and cream.
That sounds well.
No, they're fucking great. Well, the idea being, it's
Russian
like...
roulette of M&Ms.
Well, it's not, because the fucking peanut ones are massive, and the chocolate ones are tiny. So you eat all the peanut ones first, because it's just the first thing you grab. Then you get all the crunchy ones, because they're sort of medium-sized, and then you get the chocolate ones, because they're just like the Smarties.
Never knew a man to have a system for eating M&Ms.
Well, I don't do it on purpose. I've reached my hand in the bag, and that's what comes out.
Anyway, next
The big
resolution.
fat fuckers. But yeah, I'd see segues. One of my resolutions was that I want to sort of get a bit more fit. And so my way of doing that is I'm riding more and like actually just going on longer rides for stamina and actually trying to work
Not getting
on
the
that.
train to Stourbridge.
I said, fuck, I'm not going to ride to fucking Stourbridge, am
If
I?
anyone doesn't know, we're in Solihull. Stourbridge is a little ways away.
I got the train to Stourbridge to ride my bike.
Alright.
There's a difference.
Alright.
What do you do then, Ryan? What's your first New Year's
My
resolution?
first resolution is to...
Be less of a dick.
Oh, well, touching on the second one there. No. First one is probably to procrastinate less, honestly.
Alright, how?
So I will... It's not actually to do with college work. It's to do with...
general, I've done that.
Just in general, like, so I'll have, like, say I have, like, 3 or 4 TV shows I want to catch up on. And then I have, like, a few book series to read.
Like your idea of procrastinating
No,
is
but
it's
it's a
watching
genuine
TV.
problem because it happens with work as well.
Yeah.
Instead of watching those 4 shows, because I think I haven't got time enough to watch them, I'll end up doing something completely different or wasting my time that day instead, where I could be catching up and then doing other stuff. And I have this problem with work. If I'm doing it, I think, all right, well, I'm going to go on YouTube to look at this specific example, and then I'll end up watching these other fucking videos.
Yeah.
And if that happens, and it's something that I need to stop, and I know I need to stop, but
In
I
a
haven't done it in
similar
ages.
sort of vein, it's not quite procrastination with me. For another one of my New Year's resolutions, well, I've got 2 then, which are a little bit more personal to me. And one of them is I want to make more shit. And by which I mean, like, literally,
Yeah.
I don't really care if it's a really bad thing I make, but there's so many things that, I mean, in the last podcast that no one's ever going to see, we spoke about like writing and things like that. I write a lot, and I've actually started working on that since the podcast.
When did this table develop a squeak?
I don't know, but that's going to amuse me for the next hour. But yeah, since doing that podcast, I've actually started writing a bit more to do with specific things.
Yeah.
So that helped a little bit. But there's a lot of things that I either start and then I finish, or just I'll finish and then go, it's not worth doing anything with.
Yeah.
So I want to just make more stuff and, fuck's sake, like I don't care if it's shit. Like just make stuff and learn from your mistakes. So that's something for me. I want to sort of stop self-censoring in a way.
I think if I was to go along that route, I'd say I want to start making stuff with more, I'd say effects. I want to start doing stuff with trying new things,
Yeah, I
wanna
want to do something
start
different as well.
trying
What the
green
fuck is on
screens.
my
I want to
pocket?
start trying backgrounds, new locations. I want to get out and do stuff instead of as opposed to we've got to film this. Let's go to one of the 3 locations that we've used in the past for like all our other projects.
I just want to I want to be proud of the stuff that I make, which is weird having said that I don't really care if it's crap. But at the same time, like I look at my documentary that I made last year, or our documentary.
Okay, well, he says our documentary. We all planned it.
The one that I
We
filmed,
both planned it,
made,
sorry.
wrote.
I did offer to help with the editing. He didn't want it. Anyway, let's go.
So you look at my documentary. At the time, I was really proud of it, and to a certain extent, I am still really proud of it. But I watched it again recently, and now all I can see is the audio errors and the visual errors and things that could have been done better, which I do a lot anyway. But with that, it was more of a disappointment, I think, because I was so proud of what it was, to then have it not come out as I wanted. But I look at it thinking that it's not something that I'm ashamed of, because I am proud of the fact that I basically did the whole thing on my own.
You did. Oh, you did.
I was like, I'm proud of that, but at the same time, sort of, I wish it was better. But then I think, if I was to do that again now, there's a hell of a lot of stuff that I learned from making a shit documentary. That means if I made another documentary, which I might be planning on, then it'll be better, because I can learn from those mistakes.
So the documentary, you say?
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
No, okay. Yeah, well, for me, so say, like, if I was to choose a project for our short film that we've got coming up, which is one of the projects we've got to do for college, probably one of the ones before we finish college, actually, probably one of the later ones we're doing.
Yeah.
It's got to be like a minute to 2 minutes long, probably.
I think it's
That's
about a minute and a half.
probably the most you can push. 2 minutes is probably the most you can push, I'd say, if you want to really push.
Well,
with
the
teachers.
idea being is they want us to enter it into a competition.
Right.
If that happens, they have to be a minute and a half.
Okay.
If they're not entered, I think they might let you go over a little bit, but the competition states that it's got to be a minute and a half,
We'll say.
which I'm aiming for.
I was thinking of trying like sci-fi or horror, or because I'm a fan of Lovecraft, so I like cosmic horror, and I
Yeah.
like people going mental because that's a cool
Just
thing.
like the college.
Like in it's Lovecraft in lots of his stories, when the people see the horror, it's not the thing that scares them; it's the fact that they've just gone mental because they can't understand what they're seeing.
Yeah.
Instead, and I love that. But if I wanted to do that, I need to find the right setting, and I need to find the right effects to use on it, and I
And
need to
it's gonna be
find.
difficult without a budget.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to save up money now, so I've got
possible,
like, a tiny
but-
bit.
Yeah.
Like if I was to go for sci-fi, I'd try and find a place that was dark that I could easily set up with a bit
Quarry.
of mood lighting, like
Yeah.
one of these studio lights we've got with a blue filter on it, and
Yeah.
like try and create some other stuff with it. But it's just finding them, and then not just finding them, but then being allowed an 18-year-old to go on and film on them, because you wouldn't be allowed usually, like a derelict site, for instance.
There's a website that I can't remember the name of, so I would shout them out, but genuinely, I don't know the fuck they are. I'll send it to you later, and I might put... There'll be a nice big flashing thing if I remember, where it's sites that aren't necessarily film sites. There's an office in not Birmingham, Solihull, as you come in, which they've got a floor, which is just empty.
Yeah.
And if you need it for an office, you can have it, but it's a limited time only. It's not a case of you can just have this as your office. And films, if you need an office space or something like that, you can go, and it's, from what I know, it's free or very cheap, because the idea being it's for starting out directors,
Yeah.
not Hollywood to come in and go, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Usual.
It is for people who can't get locations because of age or money or things like that. So if I remember, I'm going to put them in, but I probably won't.
See, that would be good, because if you bought, say you went into that office space and you used a corner of it or whatever, if you then bought some other materials and you were good with any sort of
it's the thing
crafting
then
or like building
if you're
stuff,
getting the
you
office
could build
space
your
for
own set.
free, you can then put the money that you would have spent on that space into making it look better.
I don't know. It's one of those things where you wonder how much commitment you put in is going to be returned out.
You've got to sort of... That's the worrying thing, I think, because you have to fully 100% commit to it, and then once, if it doesn't go right, or if it is a bit crap, it's then more of a blow to you because you've put your heart and soul into
However, I
it.
will say, normally with college, we'd have two projects running alongside each other.
Yeah.
It seems that now we're actually doing one at a time,
Which
so we
could be
might
good.
have more time and space to actually
Is the plan.
move stuff around. Your next resolution?
Well, my final resolution.
Oh, final.
I was just going to segue into
Wait a minute.
that.
Did you do your second?
Yeah, it was one I'll make sure.
Okay.
I want to get fit, I want to make
Yeah,
more
you're- yeah,
shit,
you're right.
and I want to do more shit. Which is slightly the same thing,
Well,
but
that's-
I'm an
that is the
exceptionally
same.
boring person.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't go out.
He is. I've actually invited him.
a drink. Oh,
Yeah,
fucking
no,
hell.
I've invited. Okay, let's leave out the drink part. That's optional. I've invited you out countless times.
I'm a very closed person. I don't
I know.
interact with many people, and the people that I do interact
This is going to be a
with
recurring theme in these.
recently aren't there anymore because they've got fucking lives.
Do
So I'm
you
spending
like-
a lot more time on my own, and it's not that fun. And so I'm realising that it's all me. I'm not saying no one's including me. It's my fault because I'm not going out and doing shit. But I'm single, and I don't know how I'm supposed to meet someone without actually speaking to people.
Tinder.
I'm lonely. Fuck off. I don't have many friends, and the friends that I do have, I don't tend to go out with because it's me. So, like, one of the things is you're just going to use this against me to get
No.
buy alcohol.
So you
aren't
said-
you? I want to
said-
sort of go out and do more things.
So
I
it
wanna
is
go
very
gigs,
different
I
to
wanna
your other
go-
one, because your other one is
not
media related. This
necessarily
one is
clothing.
your just personal life.
Yeah, but they're both quite personal because it's
When you say you
not
want to do
limiting
more
myself.
stuff, what do you mean? Hobbies? Do you mean going out
just
with
in
friends?
general. I
or-
want to do more. Like, I
'Cause-
don't have stories to tell.
I
like,
have quite a
kids.
few. But that's because I
I've
now
got
travel.
shit stories. Exactly. I don't
I
go
travel a lot.
places. I went to Coventry IKEA the other day because I needed some like shoe rack.
This isn't going to help you at all.
No, but like that.
That's good.
I wouldn't normally do that just because I can't be asked. And why would I go? Like, if I make myself go out, I've now got memories of going to Coventry that one time. And I want more of shit like that.
This won't help you at all, but get a girlfriend. That'll give you like.
I didn't think of that.
Tons of places to go. No, but since meeting significant other,
She's gonna love
I've gone
you.
to Manchester, I've gone to Liverpool, I've gone to Wales, I've gone to like other parts of Birmingham, which I don't usually go to because they're far away and I don't have reason to go to them. No, but I don't have a reason to go to them, so I don't ever bother. But since then, I've I paid for my own first hotel, which was a nuisance.
Yeah, which I had to fucking get you to.
Oh yeah, you helped me on the bus because I didn't know where I was fucking going.
I want a girlfriend. There you go. That can be a New Year's
And
resolution.
there's
To be
the
less
whole,
lonely.
There's good stories like going to Comic-Con. There's bad stories like meeting the prison inmate on the train, which wasn't
I
fun.
feel like we can't go into that one.
We can and we can't because there's no
Be
names.
skimpy with details.
You want me to tell the story?
Yes, I do. I'm intrigued.
Well, I think I've already told it, but I was on the train back from.
Once again.
I was on the train back from Warrington, and sometimes to get out of Warrington, you can go to Crewe first and then Birmingham, or you can go straight from there to Birmingham. This one, for some reason, because I got it from a station close to her, I got it from Earlstown, which is a station, to Manchester, then back around to Birmingham, so you go back on yourself, which is an annoying train journey because it makes it slightly longer, but it was a cheaper price. So, on the train to Manchester, there was this woman who noticed I was wearing a jacket that had a certain band's logo on it.
I'm gonna guess. Does it begin with P?
Yes, it's
and end
Paramore.
with Aramore.
It's my favourite band.
Fuck's
She noticed
sake.
I had that, and she said, "Oh, are you into them then?" I went, "Well, yeah." And she said, "Oh, I'm more of metal and System of a Down stuff," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I spoke to her a bit about it. Then she sort of walked off, and I thought, "Oh, that's nice."
Then she murdered someone.
Then she came back on the phone to her daughter and sat down across the carriage from me.
And murdered someone.
Afterwards, she started talking to me again, and she went, your accent's quite different to people around here. Where are you
I'm
from?"
going to murder you.
She goes, "Your accent's quite different. Where are you from?" And I go, "Oh, I'm from Birmingham." And I say I'm from Birmingham, even though I'm not, because
Yeah, I said that.
I say Solihull, and then they go, "Oh, where's that?" And you say near Birmingham. They go, "Oh, I could have just said from Birmingham then." So that's why I say that. And then she goes, "Oh, that's cool. My prison cellmate
Try that one again.
prison cellmate was from Birmingham." And then there's this silence of like 5 seconds where I'm going, "Oh."
And then she killed you.
So then we were talking and said, "Yeah, I'm heading into Manchester to see my kids." And I go, "Oh, that's nice." And she goes, "Yeah, obviously I can't live with them because of my bipolar and stuff." And I just go, "Oh." And it's this
That's why you're mental.
It was a 20-minute train ride of me just fearing for my safety because I was afraid of this woman on the couch.
Did she kill you?
No, we actually got off, said bye, and then I missed my first train. Or second train.
Do you know I had a really good segue for that and I can't think what it was?
I do have one more resolution.
Go for it.
Be more open to other people's opinions. Because obviously...
Bullshit!
What? It is.
It was a joke.
No, but, like, it's just the problem with our generation in general. People aren't very open to other people's viewpoints.
Alright, you explain to that, and I'm going to go talk to Cam, because he
Oh.
keeps sticking his head in the
Our
window.
technicians outside.
Improvise.
Alright, okay.
Yo, how you doing? Right, where were we? Just want to make note.
1, 2, 3, go.
Tits.
I love how we just cut a bit out and he's going to start with that.
Yep.
No, but one of my resolutions... can't speak. One of my resolutions is to be more open because our generation is just crap with...
You seem to be on a sort of... I don't know. Recently, you seem to be on this real thing of trying to be open with people and...
I'm just trying to be better.
God!
What? Is that bad?
No, it's just I was wondering what...
No, so
sparked
I'm
this
usually
thing.
not defensive. I'm usually very argumentative in a way that I don't actually want confrontation, but
It
I
wants
easily
you.
get annoyed with other people's viewpoints.
Yeah.
So I need to sort of better that aspect of myself.
I think the irony
learn
of us
to
two
hold
arguing over your New Year's resolution to argue less is quite good.
Yeah, well, that's all I got
Yeah.
for my resolutions.
Conveniently, that's all I wrote down as well. So,
Didn't you have presents?
I did!
I was going to say, you said you had presents for me.
Yeah.
I haven't got any for you because I have no money.
Well, I wouldn't be too surprised yet. I haven't wrapped them.
Buy your 10 pence. I'll give you 10 pence.
Well, I haven't wrapped them for two reasons. One was a logistical thing of like you've got paper ruffling in
Yeah,
front of the
well,
microphone. It's going to be
that's
kind of
an
annoying.
easy one.
And two's, well, I lost the receipt as well, so you're going to have these.
Oh god, is it from
You're
Poundland?
going to want them. They're great. Not from Poundland.
I wouldn't have minded, to be honest.
They're from a legitimate source
What is this going to be?
of retail. I didn't take the price off, but you know, like.
The worst gift giver ever.
I am.
Wait, Alright, I'm ready.
A Quavers packet. There you go. Merry Christmas.
What the fuck are these?
Would you like to explain it?
Alright, so. So what you've done is you've bought me 2 Action Man DVDs.
I have. One's the older style, a bit more anime. I know you like that. The other
It's
one's a
not
bit more
anime.
of the 3D sort of fancy shit. You see, this would have worked better if we'd have done a podcast closer to the time that I bought the gift.
Yeah.
Because that week we'd had a conversation about the Action Man cartoons.
So,
And then I happened to be in Kex and saw them. and I
did
was
you
like,
buy
"Hey."
these because of what you've done recently as a project?
Yes. No, I bought them because we had a conversation about Action Man DVDs, and I was buying a box set and saw them. I was like, hey, fuck it, they're only 50p each, so I bought that. I haven't checked the discs in, and that would probably be a good start.
Action Man's been on steroids, fucking hell. Oh, sloppy CX. Sloppy.
Ugh, well.
Oh, this is a 2-disc set.
There it is.
It's got how many episodes? Like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, about, like, probably 15.
I'd like to say, I bought, not going out on box set, I bought some fucking horror thing, which is an 18, and then 2 Action Man DVDs. I'm going to be on the list. But yeah, you've got Action
Why?
Man,
What horror did you buy with these?
A
What could
Time for
possibly be suitable?
Action. You know, that cult classic. That one's a bit more anime. You know, you might like that.
It's not anime.
And Action Man Season 2. Apparently that was a thing.
There are seasons.
Apparently.
So, oh my god, it is a season 2.
He looks a bit more like.
It looks like John Travolta.
Ugh.
Yeah, we don't know why you've got a hate for John Travolta, do
I can't remember what podcast we spoke about that one.
we? Neither do I.
Might have just-
There was one scrap podcast I was like.
Do you want to read the back? I've just seen his name.
I don't want to read the back. Alex Mann travels the world leading a dual existence as both a champion athlete and global
Alex
guardian. Together with his Team Extreme Fidget Grinder and Ricky, Action Man must learn to understand his special power, AMP factor, or AMP factor, before his enemies use it to control him. Right, that's Alex Mann, that's his name. Alex Mann.
I think these are great. Action Man's the best, man.
Let's read about. Let's see this one. Sorry, spin roll the recording. Oh, that just looks like an awful one. That just looks horrible. Thank you.
You've got to watch them as well. I want like a 10-page essay on these.
Well, not even teachers can get that out of me. So.
No, but I will say next week I do want you to explain what they're like, because I haven't watched them yet.
You want me to actually watch them?
Yes, I do. At least watch the like, anime one. You like anime?
That's not anime. And yes, I do like it, but not this.
Well, you don't know if it's good or not. We used to like it. There's got to be something there.
I don't know what I ever saw in Action Man.
It was one of them gifts that I brought thinking I was funny, and then about 2 days later I was looking at them going, this could go horribly wrong.
I know he didn't take any of the stickers off.
No. I like the fact that I thought it'd be a good idea to give you a Christmas present on a podcast where we don't have a camera set up.
It's great. It's great.
So that killed 5 minutes.
Well, actually, we haven't timed this, have we?
Yeah, I have. I'm going to cut the 8 minutes out from
Oh, okay.
what's his face.
So you are actually timing the
We're about halfway through.
halfway.
Yeah,
Fuck.
we're halfway there.
So you said, how do I feel about Christmas? You never said how you feel. Yeah.
I did. I was saying that I don't. Now I'm old,
Oh yeah, you did.
dying, then I don't really get in the Christmas spirit.
Actually, I'm gonna pick on you now. Actually, for a film.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna pick on me for something?
Yes. I'm not gonna be argumentative about it because that's obviously one of my resolutions. But
No, but I already know where this is going.
we have an assignment to study a scene from a film in one of our lessons. I'm studying a scene from Tron. You're doing a scene from Christine, which sounds like the stupidest movie in existence.
It does, but it's good.
But
Explain to me the plot of Tron whilst I get up the.
I don't want to
fucking-
explain the plot of Tron. It's all
No, go on.
convoluted.
You explain.
It's just a game world.
I think Christine. Right. I can't type and talk. I'm dyslexic. And I've
Christine's
decided
about a
this is
killer car that somehow loves a guy, but it kills
Okay, yeah,
people.
right. You explain to me what you
Puts
think
him
the
at the
film
end.
Christine's about. I just got that picture of Tim Curry.
I think Christine is about a car that kills a bloke's enemies, but also kills him at the end because it loves him.
And why do you think that?
Because that's what you told me.
So if I was to tell you that it's about a killer car, what would your first thought be?
What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
That isn't Christine.
Oh,
That's Christine.
he's searching Google Images now for the.
Apparently there was a film called Christine 2016. I'm on about the 1983 version.
Oh wait, yeah, there was a remake.
Yeah. It's not a remake.
So
Not a remake, it's just a film about a girl
I'm sure
called
there's a
Christine.
remake of that film.
There's not yet.
Oh shit. Okay.
If you want a remake of this film, because you're good and have taste like me, I've literally today discovered that John Carpenter did a music video to the soundtrack and it's really good and it's basically just a scene from the book that it wasn't in the film, but it's a lot better and it's
Don't cop out of this. I want to know why the films are good in your eyes.
Right. So, the film Christine is about. It is a shit thing to explain. You have to watch it to actually get it. But the film follows a nerdy sort of outcast who's bullied a lot.
Oh, I see why you like it now.
I can relate. Called Arnie Cunningham.
Arnie Cunningham.
Cunningham, yes. His friend is one of the sort of popular guys, but you know he's all right. And they get bullied by the jocks and all that lot. And so it's just your normal generic thing. After the first day of going back to school, they're driving home, and Arnie, remember, sort of a bit of an outcast, sees this rundown, beaten up piece of shit car, and he pays $250 for it off this guy. His mate's trying to talk him out of it, but he's in love with it. He thinks it's the best thing in the world. He then he has arguments with his parents over it. It starts sort of because nobody understands why he's got such an obsession with this car. He just basically devotes his life to it and builds it back up to what it is. So he gets the car absolutely gleaming, and everyone then sort of goes like, "Ooh, fuck me, that's actually pretty decent." I am paraphrasing here,
You
of
know
course.
what kind of car it is?
Yeah, it's 58 Plymouth Fury.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Don't you sass me on cars. No. But yeah, so then the car's attacked again. Is that before or after the first kill? I think that's after. So the car gets built up, Arnie's in love with it, everyone sort of goes, alright, cheers mate, that's pretty decent. And then the car's attacked by the bullies, because they just think it's a car, he thinks it's really cool, so we're going to beat it up. And then you discover that the car is alive. And the fact, it's sort of, basically...
Is it ever explained as to why it's alive?
No.
Right. Well, that's
But-
a red flag.
It's sort of like Herbie, but it's
You're
evil
using
Herbie.
Herbie as the pretense for this film.
Right, no, but this is my thing. Why is Herbie alive?
No one knows.
Exactly. It's just a thing that if you're watching a Herbie film, you accept that Herbie's going to be alive and has this personality.
Yeah.
Christine is the same, but it's a teenager and is in a bit of a bad mood. That's basically it. It's just... It's a Stephen King book that it's based off
Yeah,
of.
Stephen King.
So it's sort of set in the supernatural. It's not really a horror film. I'd say it's more of a thriller. But for the 80s, maybe a horror film.
Yeah, 80s horror was much different to ours.
The basic thing is the car's got a personality, and Arnie then begins to change because he's infatuated with this car and other people can't understand it. So he sort of becomes a bit more of an outcast in the respect of he's sort of leaving his family behind and doesn't really care what his friends think because he just wants to be with this car and can't understand why people don't get that. The car is killing people, and it's sort of there's a big verging on spoiler territory. I know I've already spoiled it for you, but you know, for the three people that actually watch this, me, you, and my mum, like it's sort of an ongoing argument as to whether or not the car is evil and just wants to kill people. This is a really fucking weird sentence. Whether or not the car's evil and wants to kill people, or whether or not the car is trying to protect Arnie. So obviously, as you've already mentioned, the car kills Arnie.
Yes.
Well, Arnie dies at the end. It's sort of, that's the main thing that everyone focuses on when they're saying the car's evil. It doesn't care, it just wants to do it. But if you actually look at all of the people that it attacks throughout the film, it attacks Arnie's bullies. It goes for Arnie's friends when they're sort of
That's nice.
trying to stop
his
Arnie.
friends. That's good.
They're trying to stop Arnie. So as far as Christine's concerned, they're trying to harm her beloved.
Christ.
I see. I really want to let slip how it happens at the end, but I don't.
Does he kill himself?
No. But
So
stop guessing.
You might as well let it
get
slip because I want to watch it, but I don't mind knowing the ending.
Yeah, but I do.
We can just put a spoiler thing up on the edit.
Awooga! Not happening.
Awooga.
But yeah, sort of. I'm on the side of thinking that the car is trying to protect Arnie because the whole thing plays off of the relationship that you can have with an inanimate object.
Oh god, now I see what you're saying.
What? Fuck off! All right, you've got Action Man DVDs.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Tron? Because you like the pretty colours.
There's two colours. No, there's three colours in Tron. There's black.
Racist.
There's burning your eyes blue. There's putting you to sleep orange. Those are the three colours that are in that
So
film.
why do you like it then?
Because it's
It's got pretty
film.
colours. Ooh, good for you.
It's a stylish film. It's got good action. It's got good sci-fi roots and elements in it.
What scene are you going to analyse?
I'm analysing the Fight Club scene. Oh, club fight scene even. Cause
I was going to say.
Don't make it sound like Fight Club. You don't. Do you want to know what happens in that scene?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Tron.
It's not my
Have
film.
you seen the original?
No.
Have you seen? Oh, you've
It's not my
you haven't
thing.
seen any of them.
The same as you don't like films about cars that are alive, I don't really like
It's hard
films.
to explain. Well, I'll sum up this scene. He goes to meet someone who thinks he can help him, and he can't help him, and then this club that they're in gets attacked by the enemy, the bad guys, sort of people. I suppose you'll say people. And it's just a brilliantly edited. It's not brilliantly edited in. Oh look, that's really new and different. It's everything just flows really well in the scene. It's like a 2-minute scene. Daft Punk's got a cameo in it. That's one of the reasons why I love it, obviously. You don't like Daft Punk, do you?
They're alright.
They're not your thing.
No. They're
Um,
fine.
and they did the whole soundtrack for it, and it's just, the film is just really stylish, and it's really, it's like, it's made in 2010, and it's held up really well. Not a lot of 2010 films, 2009 type films have done that.
I respect your opinion,
Aw, thanks.
but each one. No. I just don't have an opinion on it, because I've
So,
never seen the
what
film.
genre do you tend to go for then? Because you're not a very genre person. You don't.
I'm not.
So, what films do you tend to go for?
Well, I like drama.
Oh, Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've been through this again. I can't remember if we spoke about this in the first pilot, but we'll do it again. I don't watch that many films.
You're a
I
media
prefer. No, I know it's weird. I prefer TV because I think with TV, with a series on TV, you've got a lot more time to properly develop your characters and to
Yeah, in some cases.
actually tell a proper story instead of sort of skimping on some detail or rushing over bits or not going back to bits. So that's why I personally would prefer something like Peaky Blinders
Right.
to a film that would be similar that I can't name because I don't know. But
Films similar to.
it's not I don't watch films. It's just for me I don't tend to sit in one place for like an hour and a half or 2 hours or 4.
Yeah, because you're
And
just
just
doing
do-
all that busy stuff like.
Yeah, having a life.
Really?
But-
'Cause you all your resolutions.
I,
differently.
well, I can have
you
a life
put-
of my
put
own.
out there.
I have a single life. It's fine. But I don't tend to just watch for for more than one time one thing. I have to be doing something else. With the TV series, I can, and I can jump between episodes or whatever. It's an easier thing for me to take in. So for me, I prefer TV.
So, say you.
So with that, it would probably be more drama.
Would that be
than
reflected
anything
in
else.
like your work? So
Or
say
thriller.
you were to work in the media industry.
Well,
would you
not
rather work
necessarily.
on a film or series?
Yeah, everything I've written. Well, that's not true. I've written stuff for TV. I've written stuff for stage, and I've written such stuff for not necessarily like cinema, but it's a little bit. I've written like short films, but it wouldn't work on like TV. That would be something you'd show on. Well, it would be online, but like Netflix. Well, maybe not Netflix. Like this one-off short film thing that you can watch and just take. Yeah, fuck it, Netflix. Give me all your money. But like, I don't write something. Maybe it's just because I'm only young within like the industry. I wouldn't see myself sitting down and penning a 2.5 hour film. That's not something that I could do at this moment in time.
I see where you're coming from.
I can write like a fucking sitcom that's like fucking 6 episodes, half hour each. That I could do. But
Yeah, well, I don't know. I tend to go for even no matter what I'm watching, I tend to either go for fantasy to dark fantasy. I have like 3 main genres: so fantasy / dark fantasy, because they're kind of a lot of them are similar. Horror or like sci-fi / cyberpunk.
and Action Man.
Not action, man.
And Action Man. They cost me money.
£1 for both of them.
I spent £400 on Christmas. That was one of them.
Reimburse you if you want. No, so I tend to go for 3 genres, and if I was to make a production in any of them, for fantasy I'd put a series, because you can't build a world and...
Would you write anime? I know it's something you're obviously into. And that. Could you see yourself writing
A lot of Westerners,
not
when they try it, they don't get because they don't get it right. It's hard to say. So, if I was to pick a Western anime that's popular, and that'd be Ruby, which is Rooster Teeth's one, and I've literally grown up with it since it started. Like, I was
You were very cold.
14 when it first started, I think. Then the first and second seasons happened. Creator died. Then third, fourth, and now fifth is on. Fifth is about to end. So that started out, and it didn't have poor animation. It just had for the team that it had really good animation. It's just it wouldn't be on par with any of the other ones you'd get from Japan, and sort of do them side by side. There's a lot of jumpy movements. There was a lot of facial expressions that didn't quite work, but it had like loads of charm and character, and the characters were really good.
It didn't work then for a podcast without a camera.
Yeah,
I'm doing well.
The characters were really good. It was full of charm. It had good world building at the start, and it was really good. But you never would have thought that Japan would actually then pick it up and sub it themselves and actually release it in Japan as one. And then people that I've seen go to Japan have actually found stores where there's loads of its merchandise or knockoff merchandise in shops. And it's really strange how that's become popular. But to answer your question, because I've gone on.
Would you write it?
I think I would. I think I'd try writing at least so that version. So there's 3 versions for Japanese media. You got manga, light novels, and anime.
Would you write? So like manga. I'm going to offend you massively here. It's a bit more like a comic, is it not?
It is basically a comic.
I'm not saying it. Well, okay. You said that.
It's basically a comic book published as a book, so I'd say graphic novel.
Could you see yourself writing something like that?
Yes. If I had like
overdoing, I suppose without it doesn't really. I don't know. I wouldn't say overdoing like an actual series, but I suppose it's still a similar vein.
I'd say if I was working with someone who was good at art and we both had like a passion in it, I'd say manga. If not, I'd say light novel because it's basically just a book.
So I would probably do better writing a book because I can write narrative. I can't write dialogue.
You think you're really good until you try and write a book and then you realise, oh shit, I've got to really descriptive and I've used 2 words. And you end up just realising how crap you are.
Yeah. So I can write, like, whatever I just said. I can write narrative, I can't write dialogue.
Yeah.
So for me, dialogue's exceptionally clunky and
He walked through the misty snow and then he said hello to the old man.
No, I can't do conversations. Just, they don't flow properly.
No, I see what you mean.
Which I've always said, I think Misfits, which I love, another series, that had a good feel with the conversations, less so in the later series because they changed up the cast. Sort of the second, third series, that had quite a good flow because you knew the characters and everything that they said fitted what would be said. You gonna sneeze or what? No. And so it's not a case of like if something happens, then you've got one character that goes, "Oh, this thing has just happened." Everyone's just sort of like, "Well, we can fucking see it's happened. We don't need to say that."
Yeah.
And everyone reacts to it in their character. I think, like I say, when they changed up the cast, they sort of lost that a bit. But one show that I think didn't is This Is England.
I don't think I've ever actually watched that, you know.
Was the film, which you should watch, is good. There's many films. The sort of franchise.
Was a TV show not long ago.
Yeah, they did This Is England
90 or so, yeah.
But I think with that, especially having followed the characters through, you do still have it. But if you just picked it up straight from 90, you're going to miss some plot points, obviously. but you would still look at people and you could tell who's friends, who's in a relationship. Because I've always said, I think I'd love to, being really fucking nerdy now, I'd love to see the script to This Is England. Because I want to know how it's written.
Oh, you want to see what it looks like?
Because to me it feels like it's real. Well, not feels like it's real. I feel like the dialogue, I've always said I like the idea of writing something, I can't write dialogue, where you write for an actor and then they improvise it.
Yeah.
So you've got certain parts that you have to get to this point, but everything is just improvised to get to that point. I sort of feel like that's how This Is England is written, which I don't think it is, because that's a really bad way of writing anything. But the way that everybody in it, there's no weak link of someone that doesn't quite sound right. It feels like you're just watching people having a conversation. And that's what I'd like to have, because I can't write dialogue and it's shit.
I will say that with actually Game of Thrones. So you're not a fan of Game of Thrones?
No.
It's fantasy, very. It's sort of like a mix of realism because you've got like lots of war and combat and that strategy sort of stuff, and then you've got fire magic and dragons and ice zombies, which don't make sense. However, I will say the dialogue, not just in the show, but if you read the books, the way he does dialogue is really good because he does. George R. R. Martin will do what the character's saying, and then maybe a page or two later will do what they're thinking about, and then you'll see that translated into the next conversation. It sort of flows well because you see exactly where they're coming from. The show does that as well, but I've got to be honest, the show's lacking in the late seasons because they're not using the books as a guideline, which isn't entirely bad, but it feels like the next season might be the same as last, which the last felt a bit rushed. So you used to have, if they were travelling from one place to another, there'd be like an episode in between these two. They were travelling to these two locations, so they'd give you a sort of time frame. But now they're getting from like one end of this continent to another in the space of a minute.
Is there a reason for that?
I think it's because they had an original plan to do this X amount of seasons and they're still sticking to that. So they want to finish it all, but I think also because they're trying to do their last season in a larger scale, which means obviously a bigger budget, and they want to cut down on a few things. But I think they just want to hurry the plot along, which isn't bad. But if you're going to establish this sort of time frame early on, don't then sacrifice it later on.
The Walking Dead, which I know again you don't.
Oh.
See, you bring up something that I don't watch, and it's okay.
No, it's
I
okay.
bring up something, and it's
No, because I really love The Walking Dead. I still do. I'm just
something that
fatigued on it.
It's like the last series has basically been set over a couple of days, or even a day. It's a really interesting thing to watch. How you've gone from being a few weeks in an episode being like an hour. It's really interesting to see how it's all written. It can be confusing where the latest series not so much. The series before that it was very light. You'd be with one character for one episode and then that would set up a big cliffhanger of holy fuck, what's that?
Yeah.
And then the next episode would be another character, and then the next episode would be another character, and then like 4 episodes later you'd go back to that and you'd be like, hang on a minute, I'm missing something. So that, not so much. But like with that, they've slowed down to suit the time of the actual. I feel like they're working up to something.
Yeah, they probably are, because
Film theory's got.
I know about the graphic novels.
Yeah.
The comics.
See, they don't follow that exactly. There's characters
they really
that
diverged.
they wrote.
They really diverged recently, which is another reason why I'm not a huge
Which
fan.
is good, because the point of like you set up
Good and bad.
massive spotlight. What's going to happen now? If people have read the comics, they know.
See, that's the thing. It happens with
So
Game of
to
Thrones.
have that thing of
a little bit.
sometimes we're going to go off and do something different. It keeps everybody still guessing.
It happens with Game of Thrones a little bit, but it happens with The Walking Dead more, where it's a show that I think prides itself on we'll kill off this character even if they're popular because they need to be killed off. This is their
it's
time.
the shock factor. I
But
think. Well, not
one
the shocks. That's
problem I have with that, and it's always the one example I ever use. It's the governor. He was brought on in the comics. He was brought on, and he stayed for a good amount of time. And then he, as soon as when Michonne attacks him, kills his daughter, and all that. Spoilers. If you haven't watched a years old show at this point. In the comics version, it's brutal. She's like spoons out his eye, gouges out his eye. She chops off one of his arms. And I think she does some stuff down there. But then he comes back, attacks prison, and then he's gone straight away. That's what happened. For some reason,
So
in
he doesn't
the
like
series,
outstay his welcome. And
it's like he outstayed his welcome, but at the same time, he was still a good character because they ended up changing him up. They made him
so he doesn't
good.
go stale.
They made it bad
Yeah.
again. But I feel like they kept him on too long because it was so short and sweet because it forced them to get out of this really safe place that you think they just found. But in the show, it's like it goes on just like 1 or 2 episodes too long. I think.
See, I think they're currently doing the same thing with Negan.
See, Negan's.
See,
I think he's still alive in the comics. I'm not sure.
think the writing for Negan was fucking brilliant. Is awful as a villain, because like Negan's one of my favourite characters in that show currently. I think he's the most charismatic.
I think he's a lot of people's favourites when he first appears in the book.
And the first series they had him. Yeah, he's killed Glenn. Oh, spoilers. He's killed beloved characters, and he's a bastard to the group. But you look at it and you see, like, Rick's supposed to be the triumphant hero and all that, and he's just a bit. He's flat. He doesn't have it, which they do work like play. That's supposed to be there. Whereas Negan's this big charismatic bloke. But the next series, you've got Rick's coming back and he's fighting again, and he's not the underdog anymore. And at the same time, they sort of sow the seeds of they introduce like Negan's wives, and there's a bit of a sort of. I've always said the easiest way to make someone a villain is to throw a little bit of rapey stuff in there.
Yeah.
Just you have someone touch someone a little bit, immediately the audience is against them because that's just an instant trigger. And they did that, and then they immediately backtracked on it and made him a good guy again. And then there's a bit where Carl is in the is there, and he's got the bandage on his eye, and Negan he's sort of it's a bit of banter. It comes across at first like he's bullying him about it, and he's saying that you should take it off and that, and then he takes it off, and he's got this horrible injury, and Negan's sort of like, "Yo, dude, that's fucking gross." But then it's almost like a bit of a father-son moment of he's like reassuring him about it, and he's saying that you're fucking badass, like you don't. And I really, there was a part of me that sort of wanted him to turn bad, but then I didn't because it was a bit meh. But at the same time, I really loved the writing of it. But at the same time, as a bad guy, I care more about him than I do Rick. And to the point, if I sit there thinking, if Rick died at the end of this latest series, it's a bit shit.
I've got 2 things to go off
but
on there.
Negan, I think, is just a better character, and they need to make him more bad so that people to actually give a shit. So I'd be sad when he dies.
Yeah.
At the moment, he's one of my favourite characters.
I've got 2 things to go off on that. One, there's a website where you can go and you can look at how many times Rick has said Carl along all seasons, and it's a great website. I'll show you. I can send it you if I find it. It's like www.caarl.com or something like that. Second is an interesting note is my brother keeps saying that The Walking Dead won't finish for ages because they've got Rick's not going to die. They're not going to kill off the main character. And I say, no, because in the first ever edition of his graphic novel, Robert Kirkman, the creator of Walking Dead, said in a message, we're going to follow Rick through the rest of his life. And I always say, because he says that, and he specifically says the rest of his life, the series is going to end with Rick dying. It has to.
See,
and that
yes,
is I agree. Because he keeps switching now between saying Madman,
there's
big
a
killer.
part of me that thinks
it's like they need to.
I'd be intrigued for them to drop Rick, and I feel like it would be the end of The Walking Dead if they dropped him at the end of one series and then tried to carry on. Part of me wouldn't hate that, but you'd have to know that that's not going to work. I'd like to see a series without Rick and see the group sort of without a strong leader.
An interesting one about that is, so you're not into fantasy. This is more historical with a tiny, tiny bit of fantasy, sort of mystical stuff etched in, like religious. Vikings.
Oh no, I do quite like that.
Vikings had Ragnar, who is
I've started getting into
character.
it, so I don't quite understand everything yet.
Oh, I don't know if I can tell you.
Oh, fuck it, I don't care.
Okay, they have Ragnar. He's a brilliant character. All the characters in that show are pretty much really well written, especially the new ones, like Ivar and stuff. You won't see it yet. Ragnar is... Obviously, he's not in there as many seasons before he's lopped off. Basically, before when Viking started, I was curious as to who his character was, and I searched online for like the real Ragnar, who he was in history's context, and I found out, he dies. So
don't do that.
I knew that in the season, at some point, he's going to have to die, and they do. They don't keep him around too long.
See,
he dies when he's supposed to. He gets killed by the right person.
As much as I love him, I feel like he's
overlapping me.
I feel like he is stale now. Like they had the perfect time to kill him off, and it would have been a bit of a sort of, well, fucking hell, I liked him, but they didn't, and for whatever reason they chose not to. They're going with their own story on it, but I feel like now he's getting to the point of it is a bit stale, and he's not boring, but he's not doing anything new. It's sort of just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like if Batman only fought the Joker, like every single fucking Batman film. It's like they forgot that there are other people in it.
There are a lot of other people in
I
there.
want to move away from The Walking Dead and all of that, and I want to briefly touch, because we haven't got massively long left. That's probably going to go off, but we've got a few minutes afterwards. I want to touch on a show that you fucking hate for no reason.
Wait.
You won't. Well, you're now going to say, "I don't actually hate it." But
Go on, say it.
I want you. Well, no, I want to watch it first. But I want you to watch Black Mirror.
Oh, I never said I heard.
I think your problem with Black Mirror isn't Black Mirror. It's Black Mirror fans.
It is Black
It's
Mirror
the fact
fans.
that all you
It's
ever
like-
hear
it's
about
the,
is how good Black Mirror is. Because I was exactly the
It's
same.
it's the Rick and Morty effect where
Oh,
nobody's going
yeah.
to stop going on about it, so I don't want to watch it, so I can watch it peacefully in my
Don't
own time
watch-
in like a year's time.
Series 4. Start from Series 1.
Well, yeah, that's
This is what I've started doing. I have only watched one episode. But it's a good episode.
Christ.
And say, I was exactly the same as you, and I'm stubborn as fuck. Have you watched Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I watched one episode. I didn't actually find it as funny as everyone says.
It's not my thing. It's not my humour.
I think South Park's as far as I go with the cartoon comedy sort of stuff.
I
apart
think
from anime.
new South Park I can do. Old South Park I still look at and think it's a bit naff. When everyone tells me that old South Park's the best stuff,
No, then it's just really good.
well,
I think.
I just have a different comedy, I think. And I look at something like Rick and Morty, it's not my thing. Like, some jokes I'll laugh at. A lot of jokes just go over my head. Maybe I'm stupid. But I
maybe not a
just think
tangent enough.
with that, I don't... It's not my thing.
No,
Black Mirror sounded just like my thing. I remember watching the adverts on Channel 4, and it was like 10 o'clock, so I couldn't watch it. But I remember looking at the adverts thinking, that looks really good. I really want to watch that. And now it's become this whole internet thing of, oh, everyone's got to watch Black Mirror. I did exactly what you're doing and just said, well, I'm not watching.
It's like-
Can't tell me what to do. But
like everyone
having...
watching,
I did just sit down and watch it last night, and it is really good. So I'd stay away from Series 4, because that's what everyone's going to be going on about.
You know
Start
what-
from Series 1.
you know what
and
adds
try
the
it.
most to that? Social media.
Yeah, just...
Because it's going back all the way to 13 Reasons Why. Now this is a touchy show to touch upon.
Fuck me.
Now I'm not going to go into like what I think's wrong with the show because then that's going to turn
Right,
into a
as a bit of
clusterfuck
context,
opinions. Oh Christ!
We're both media students. Last year,
Like we
one
keep
of our
saying.
units was to do...
The 13 Reasons
We
Why
didn't
book.
have to actually make it, but we had to take the book of 13 Reasons Why and sort of come up with an idea for a film or a new series for that. A lot of people, because we're all incredibly original, came up with the idea of doing it for like a streaming service like Netflix and having 13 episodes, which was this cool, edgy little quirk.
Don't-
Oh, I said edgy, didn't I?
You
Fuck.
did.
But like, see, I didn't
So-
really bond with the actual source material, so I didn't care
I did
as
because
much.
it hits
so I
it
was
hits close to
changing-
home for me.
So you were saying the other day, earlier about anime changing the names of characters and things like that. I moved
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why from America to England because it's a place that I know
You want it
better
to
than
feel
America.
more representative
So
of
I
you
can-
and your country. And
Yeah, I
everything.
can relate to it more being English than being American.
There we go. Alarm's gone off.
But yeah, I can relate to it more being English as opposed to American, so that's how I wrote it. What were you going to say about the actual
So
show?
I'm not going to go into why I don't like it because that's a whole clusterfuck of opinions. And
Let's not touch it.
Yeah. The problem I have with it is I saw when it first came on. I thought, okay, I'm gonna watch the first episode, and I didn't enjoy it for various reasons. And I thought, it went not for me. I'm gonna give this one a pass, and I'm also gonna tell my girlfriend, who is, by the way, a
We don't need to go into
sufferer
it.
of various issues that is also present in the film. It
I
tried
think
to do
it was
good.
quite
It didn't end up.
Distasteful how it worked.
But
It
Like,
didn't
again, let's not get into the
understand, I
reasons
think.
why, because otherwise we're going to get into a clusterfuck of
13
opinions.
Reasons Why.
I saw loads of people on Facebook who I know had never been through this sort of stuff, or I know had caused
I
various
don't think
issues
it
like this for
matters
people.
if you've
And
been
they
through
were-
that sort of stuff or not. I think
No, but I saw people
you
who
can look at
actually-
it from an outside perspective and have the opinion that this is not doing what it should be doing. When you've got something on that level of it was publicised so much and it's on Netflix and it's this big thing that's going to be a thing, I think you've got a certain responsibility with that to take care with how you're going to handle it. And the way that they did it did not do any favours for its subject matter, I think.
Yeah, I just saw a lot of people who I know were, let's say, bullies in school, who then probably caused a lot of the issues that are in that show for the people in school, who were saying that this show is a masterpiece, and thinking, well, look at it and look at yourself, because you were definitely that kind of person.
See, I don't think it's fair to say that. See, I don't like the idea behind the story of it. I don't like the whole she was bullied into it and all this lot. And I think, okay, so for those that don't know what it is, you should probably do some research on it before watching anything else on it, because we're obviously both biased as fuck. But 13 Reasons Why is about a girl who commits suicide and then sends out 13 tapes to people who had some effect
an impact
on
watch,
towards the reasons why. Well, 13 Reasons Why. So it follows the lead character, who's a guy who gets these tapes and he's sort of trying to piece together what had happened. I think the way it's written in the book as well as the film is very cliched and isn't not specific enough, because obviously everyone's going to have a different experience with it. But it was a bit too it didn't relate with its audience. Teenagers, oh fuck, this got deep. Teenagers go through a lot. I think to do it properly, it had to have been something that teenage audiences can look at and go, yeah, that I can. Even if I don't suffer with that, I can understand why someone would. And for me, I think the whole way that it's dealt with, it just screams as being mishandled and being in bad taste. Somebody that doesn't understand it.
The reason why a lot of people. The reason why I got annoyed is because I saw a lot of people saying that this is a masterpiece because they were told by someone else that it was good, so they watched it and they then think it's good. But they need to sort of look at it more objectively.
So I think we're also at the thing.
There's good aspects to it. It's just not.
Everybody that did that unit said that it was shit.
Yeah.
And we're a class of people with very different senses of humour, taste, and everything.
Backgrounds.
For everybody to think that it was crap, I don't think it was necessarily crap. I think we're all overanalyzing it because we'd all done the same thing ourselves. We're all a little bit in love with our own idea, and in that being a different thing, we're all going to be against it. But everyone was coming up with very similar points as to why it wasn't good. And then this shit with it supposedly having a second series based on a school shooting.
That's the thing. I think that if you were trying to hit home the message that this season is supposed to be about that particular subject, end it there.
See,
just
I think as well, I want to stress
give it a second season.
I don't know about you. I would argue that I'm not somebody that thinks you should shy away from serious topics in films. I think the whole thing with the school shooting, if they do this second series, the idea behind it, I mean, American Horror Story did it. They did it perhaps a little bit more glorified than it should have been, but the way that they handled it was still...
What I would say is, if they want to make a series...
I've never been in one, so I can't relate to that.
If they want to make a series of it, don't say, this is a second season of 13 Reasons Why. Say, this is a new season of a new show by the same creators of this show. Because then it's not related to that one, and that's its own thing, and it's got its own message, and you can promote that itself. Instead of relying on the success or...
I think that as well. I don't know. We're both biased. We need to, before we wrap this up, I think we should bring the mood up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
We need something to sort of, lift this up, because this got deep, I think, and heavy.
I mean, I've got a new anime series I've got watching, which you won't get, but it's brilliant for people who get anime. It's called Please Tell Me, Galco. And it just breaks all the stereotypes of different school people. So you've got the ditzy blonde, who everyone thinks, oh, she's dumb, she's this, that. Turns out she's actually show loving. She's she's really into hobbies like cooking and stuff. That she likes, and she's actually quite kind and stuff. So you think and then she's got a friend who's like a timid, shy, glasses wearing girl. You think, oh, that's the nice one, and she's actually a massive bitch, and she's not very nice. And so it just breaks all this, and it's like a slice of life. So it's just these girls going through school.
Yeah.
Nothing else to it, and it's just different questions that they ask her each day.
So what's that called?
Please Tell Me, Galco-chan. I've got the book in my bag. Galco-chan. Chan's a Japanese word for someone I respect. But anyway, that's all the podcast was today.
This was a very film orientated one, I think.
It was, but that's good because we need to.
So like I say, I think we said in the pilot, if these aren't going to be...
They're not structured.
It's not a film podcast, but we're into films. It's not a games podcast, but we both like games. It's not a specific thing. It's two media students playing around with a loud piece of card. Two media students that talk shit a bit for an hour, and then so there's going to be a lot of things talking about films. There's also going to be a lot of shit just talking about crap. I do want to get guests. I think we should establish. I want to do a few more episodes of us, and I think if we have a guest, I want it to be somebody that is going to be worthwhile. I'd like someone either quite interesting that we can.
Honestly, I would find it
friends
quite interesting if we were to have a specifically oriented podcast, so maybe it was oriented on music.
Yeah, I'd like to do something like that.
And
where
get a
it's
teacher in.
specific. Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah,
Because we have a lot of teachers who are interested in different things. So music, you've got one. You've got one who's interested in documentaries and TV, and you got one who are interested in.
So we're going to work on that.
Well, company, I suppose.
So there will be guests at some point.
Yes.
Maybe just other students.
Some point in the
We
far
should do a
future.
politics one.
Right.
Right. Not doing politics.
But yeah, there'll be guests and there'll be different things, but on a whole, it's just general chit chat about things.
Anything we find interesting.
But yeah, films probably will be quite a prominent thing, but it's not like we're going to be doing reviews. So yeah, the ending of this was a fucking mess.
All be fixed in post.
Oh, thanks. That's my job. Right. Well, do you want to actually say goodbye, or
Bye.
you don't have to turn it off, do you?
Bye.
Oh God, you're peeking so hard. No, it's still going.
Bye.
Do you know what helps?
What?
If you take it off lock.